Good morning, everybody, and welcome to Tino's Time Wrestling. And what a night it was last night at WWE's Day 1. This pay per view actually was pretty good, and it was better than I was expecting. We talked about it on my pre show about my predictions and everything. So, before we get into all the action that happened on the card, I want to start off with the biggest news that happened last night at 6 p.m. Roman Reigns, the Universal Champion, was tested positive for COVID 19 and he had to be removed from WWE's Day 1 pay per view because of the protocols. So, because of that, Brock Lesnar was added to the Fatal 4-Way match, and now it was a Fatal 5-Way match for the WWE Championship. So, just wanted to let you know that if you didn't see the pay-per-view last night and you didn't see that Roman got COVID, let's all hope and let's root for Roman to get back, and let's hope it's not too bad. Roman, you're going to be okay and come back stronger and be the head of the table like you do when you run Friday nights. So, now that we talked about Roman and we gave him a shout out and we wished for him to get better, let's get into all the action that happened at WWE's pay-per-view that was Day 1. And let's start off with the pre-show. We talked about it on my predictions. This match was added later on about Thursday night, Friday morning. It was added to the card. It was Sheamus and Ricochet, or I'm sorry, it was Cesaro and Ricochet versus Ridgeholland and Sheamus. I was thinking about the bar was back together. Oh God, I was thinking it was 2017-18 again. So Cesaro and Sheamus being back together. I mean, I wouldn't mind that, but that wasn't what was happening. It was Cesaro and Ricochet versus Ridgeholland and Sheamus. And this match was pretty good. It only lasted 9 minutes, and it was on the pre-show, and that's what the matches usually last on the pre-show is about 9 minutes, and that it is what it is. And I didn't expect this match to be too long, but it was good for what it was. But early on in the match, it looked like Ricochet kneed Ridgeholland in the nose, and he actually broke his nose that we found out later on in the Day 1 pay-per-view. And I don't know how much it's broken. Hopefully it's not as broken as John Cena's nose was when Seth Rollins kneed him in the nose a few years ago. But Ridgeholland had to leave the match, and it was pretty much became a 2-on-1. But that didn't matter because in the end, Sheamus still picked up the win after Broad kicking Cesaro, and Sheamus won for his team, and Ridgeholland considered to take the win. So Sheamus and Ridgeholland won this match, and I talked about it again on my pre-show about how Cesaro was in the main event of WrestleMania, or not the main event of WrestleMania, but he was in a pretty good high standard match at WrestleMania versus Seth Rollins, and now he's on the pre-show. I really hope that we see Cesaro go on to do bigger and better things. Not saying that, maybe him and Ricochet could even be a tag team. They looked pretty good as a tag team, and that would be pretty cool to see. So, I don't want to talk too much about this match because we have other matches that I want to talk about that were a little bit better, but I hope to see that Cesaro hopefully gets a bigger, better push going on later on in 2022. But Sheamus and Ridgeholland did win that match. Now, let's get to the main card. And the first match on the main card, it was the SmackDown Tag Team Championship match. And what I was going to say before I forgot to tell you what match it was, is that these two tag teams go at it all the time. The Usos and the New Day, we've seen this rivalry continuously go on and on. They fought at each other in every type of stipulation match, Hell in the Cell, Steel Cage, regular tag team matches, no holds bars, fatal false count anywheres, every type of stipulation match. And every time that these four teams get in the ring, it doesn't matter what they do. They put on an absolute show. And yes, I hate seeing it, and it's over and over again, and we talk about it all the time about the constant repeat matches. But it doesn't matter how many times these guys fight; they will always put on a good show. In the end, though, the Usos did the 3D. They brought back the Dudleys. It was like watching the WWE, WWF in the 90s. Oh, maybe I shouldn't have said WWF, but that's okay. There's no restrictions here on Tino's time. The Usos did the 3D, brought a tribute to the Dudleys onto Kofi, and they picked up the 1, 2, 3, and they continue on to be the WWE SmackDown Tag Team Champions, and they had to root on and say they are the number ones and root on for Roman Reigns since he wasn't there. I was really worried at this point what was going to happen to the other four men in that Fatal 5-Way match. But before we got to the Fatal 5-Way match at the end of the night, we had to see Drew McIntyre versus Madcap Moss. And don't get me wrong, people. I love Drew McIntyre. I love everything he did in the pandemic era. And I don't like that he's in this rivalry with Baron Corbin and Madcap Moss. But I mean, this match was honestly a bathroom break. Let's be real. I mean, this match, if you're hungry, you want to go get some food, you got to go take a pee, you got to go number 2, whatever you got to do, this is the match to do it on. And, you know, this match did last. It lasted longer than I thought it would. It actually lasted the same amount of time as the match did on the pre-show. It lasted 9 minutes and 45 seconds. And Drew McIntyre beat the crap out of Madcap Moss like we thought. Baron Corbin got involved like we thought he would. But in the end, Drew McIntyre hit his Claymore on the Madcap Moss, and he picked up the 1-2-3. Thank God, because I was worried that Madcap was going to win, and I was going to be like, we're starting the year off with Madcap Moss getting a push in 2022. What is it? What is he, the next James Ellsworth? Come on, we don't need that. I mean, Madcap Moss is probably going to be in the Rumble. And speaking of the Rumble, before we talk about the Raw Tag Team Championship match, we saw Johnny Knoxville. I don't know if this is official, but keep this in mind. I think Johnny Knoxville declared himself for the Royal Rumble. So keep an eye on that. He talked in a little bit of a video in his backyard or wherever that he was at. I think he was on the set of Jackass Forever, but I don't know if that's true, but keep that in mind, because if Johnny Knoxville is in the Royal Rumble, that's going to be some entertaining stuff to watch at the end of January. But now, let's get to the Raw Tag Team Championship match. It was the Street Profits versus RKBro. Matt Riddle and Randy Orton. And you know, I love Matt Riddle, RKBro. They came out with Migos. Migos was the performance. They did the song, the official song for day one, and they came out, and my friend made a good comment. They were all probably sitting in the back smoking a blunt before the match. They had to do it in the back behind the camera, so Vince McMahon didn't see him and go beat them all up. But when I saw them come out, that was just great to see. But the Street Profits and RK-Bro are another tag team like the Usos and the New Day, and obviously they don't have the same type of rivalry. But when these four men get in the ring with each other, they know how to put on a show, and they know how to work together, and they know how to entertain us. And you know, that's a big thing that I don't think people really talk about a lot with like AEW and WWE. AEW is more for the hardcore fans, for people like me. I love WWE, AEW. I mean, I'll always be WWE guy a little bit more, but I mean, I still like AEW, and that AEW is more for hardcore fans that love what it was back in the 90s, ECW and stuff like that. But WWE is more for the kids and nowadays, because, you know, the kids nowadays don't even know what it was back then, and that's crazy to see. And that's why, you know, people like me got to keep making sure that we do our thing, and we keep the younger kids, we keep them involved, and we show them what good wrestling actually is. But I just wanted to say that because there's been a lot of AEW, WWE versus each other, and you know, maybe at one point we'll see like a WCW versus WWE type thing with AEW versus WWE. But I don't know. I just wanted to mention that. But this match, like I said, with the four guys, Street Profits and RK-Bro, they always know how to work together, and they always do their thing in the ring. In the end, though, of this tag team match, it was really good. It lasted 11 minutes. You know, I was worried that this match was going to be shorter than the Madcap Drew McIntyre match. But in the end, Riddle and Randy Orton did a flying bro. They involved both of their finishers, and they won. They picked up the 1-2-3 after Randy hit the RKO, and you're still your Raw Tag Team Champions, Matt Riddle and Randy Orton. RK-Bro. Yeah, buddy. RKBro, I love everything they're doing. But to be honest, people, keep this in mind, and this is one of my bold predictions that coming up in the Royal Rumble. I think that we could see this being a singles match, and I don't know why, but I just feel like that we could see them both turning on each other, and this being a singles match at WrestleMania. But right now, RK-Bro is still your Raw Tag Team Champions. Following the tag team match and the Drew McIntyre Madcap Moss match, it was finally one of the matches we were looking forward to the most. To the most. Edge, the rated R superstar, versus The Miz, the A-lister, Dancing with the Stars, future Hall of Famer, got the wife, the family, everything. This match was a match, honestly, in my opinion, it was a dream match that I have always wanted to see, but I never even thought about it because I never even thought it could happen. But once it started happening and this rivalry started ramping up and we started seeing them go back and forth, and then on Raw we saw them do all the black and all like, Edge was like, you wanted a white wedding? He said, nah, you're getting a black wedding. And then on day one when the match started, Miz and Maurice came in black, and it kind of looked like they were going to a funeral. And then Edge's music hit, and it wasn't, you didn't know me. It was the Brood music, and he started off coming out as his old character, the Brood, again. And if you missed it, he did it back when he wrestled Seth Rollins. And when he comes back in that, it just brings back all of the childhood memories. I remember watching the Brood and Edge come out in that entrance, and it was just awesome. And then he came out and he did his thing, and he did You Didn't Know Me, and so he brought out both characters, and it was good. So it just, both entrances were, the Miz looked like he's going to a funeral. Honestly, everybody in WWE looked like they were going to a funeral. I swear there was like 8 superstars that were wearing black. Were we going to a funeral, or was this a pay-per-view? Like, come on. But the Edge and Miz match was pretty good. It lasted 20 minutes, and it was the longest match out of the night, out of all the matches. And I thought the Fatal 5-Way match would be the longest, but it wasn't, and we'll get to that later on. But the Edge and Miz's match was really good in my opinion, and people can say it was bad, and it didn't live up to the hype, and it was a snooze fest, and it wasn't good, but it was really good for what it was, and everybody doesn't expect that, Edge can wrestle this good at his age, and The Miz is still one of the best in the ring, and people might make fun of it, but let's be real, people. Miz is really a future Hall of Famer, and he will be in the Hall of Fame one day once he does hang up his boots. But who knows when that will be? He could wrestle until he's Edge's age. But this match, like I said, was really good. We saw Maurice get involved a lot. She tried to help The Miz constantly, but at the end of the match, Maurice was trying to help The Miz again, and she was trying to get involved again. And then we saw the Glamazon, Beth Phoenix, another Hall of Famer. Edge and Beth Phoenix, if you didn't know, they're married. They are both Hall of Famers. And when Beth Phoenix came out, she left the NXT announce team a few weeks ago. If you listen to my NXT shows and if you keep up on NXT, you would know that she left. And I kind of had a feeling in my head that maybe we could see this, but I didn't think it could really happen. But when Beth Phoenix came out, she made Maurice run around the ring, and then Maurice went up to the ramp, and then Beth Phoenix distracted The Miz, and then Edge hit the spear onto The Miz for the 1, 2, 3, and Edge won the match. And like I said, people could say it's a snooze fest, but it was the longest match in the night. It was 20 minutes. They did put time into this match. The rivalry and the build was really good, and I thought it was really good. So people could say what they want, but in the end, the rated R superstar won. And now that Beth Phoenix is back, I really hope that one person I did already listen to and talk to about it, they did mention that maybe this match should happen not at WrestleMania. This match should happen at the Royal Rumble, but it probably will happen at WrestleMania. It's Beth Phoenix and Edge versus Miz and Maurice. And don't get me wrong, I want to see the mixed tag team match, but I would rather see it at the Royal Rumble because, like we talked about on my pre-show, after the Royal Rumble, there is no pay-per-view until WrestleMania, which is a good thing because it gives them time to build all the matches and all the rivalries to WrestleMania, and they could actually give each match time and everything like that, and it's 2 nights, which will be good. But, I just really hope that we don't see Edge go out in his last year of his contract with WWE in his last WrestleMania in a mixed tag team match versus The Miz and Maurice. Let's see him versus AJ Styles, the phenomenal one. That's a WrestleMania match. Book it, people. AJ Styles versus Edge at WrestleMania 38 in Dallas, Texas. Let's go. But Edge beat The Miz, and we'll see what happens on Raw tonight on Raw on the USA Network to see what the future holds and what's going to go on at the Royal Rumble. Hopefully we start seeing qualifying matches. But now let's get back to the matches of day one. The next match on the card for day one was the Raw Women's Championship match. We didn't see Charlotte Flair defend the title. What the heck was with that? We talked about it on my pre-show about some other matches. Where was Damian Priest? Where was Shinsuke Nakamura? Where was the Raw Women's Champion or the Raw Tag Team Championships? I didn't understand. But whatever. Becky Lynch versus Liv Morgan for the Raw Women's Championship. This match and this build has been really good. Liv Morgan finally has gotten her opportunity to be a main eventer that she rightly deserves. She's been fighting since she was a kid. If you didn't go see Liv Morgan Forever, the documentary on the WWE Network in UK and Peacock, go and watch it. It's a really good documentary, and it just shows how far Liv has come, and it's awesome to see her where she's at now. And this match was really good. There were so many opportunities and so many times I thought Liv Morgan was going to win. I thought she had it. I thought it was going to be her time. But, Becky Lynch continued to just say, no, it's my time. I'm just going to continue to kick out. I'm just going to do my thing. I'm not going to let you take advantage of it. I'm going to choke you until I can and let go at 4 and then, run around the ring and get out of the ring and everything. This match lasted 17 minutes, and it was the second longest match of the night. And, people, again, this is another one people could say it was what it was. And, I thought this match was honestly, other than the Edge and Miz match, I thought this match was really good because we'll get to the Fatal 5-Way match. Not that it wasn't good, but I just thought it would have been better. But, we can't control with COVID. But back to Becky Lynch and Liv Morgan. This match was really good, and, it showed that Liv Morgan can be a main eventer, and it showed that the future is really bright for her. And even though in the end Becky Lynch hit the manhandle slam, and it looked like she tried to grab the ropes with her leg, but she was like, no, I'm going to do it clean this time. Becky Lynch is still your Raw Women's Championship, your Raw Women's Champion. And, even though Liv didn't win, I think she'll be in the Royal Rumble, and hopefully maybe she'll be the Iron Man of the Royal Rumble or the Iron Woman of the Royal Rumble, and that would be really cool. You always know there's always that one person that lasts the longest, and they always make the final 5, and sometimes they win. So maybe that could be Liv Morgan, and if Liv Morgan could win the Royal Rumble, it could start 2022, and maybe we could see Liv Morgan have a Bianca Belair type of WrestleMania moment like Bianca had last year. But congratulations to Big Time Bex for still being the Raw Women's Champion, and we'll have to see what the future holds for her. Maybe we see her versus Sasha. I don't know. Sasha's on SmackDown. Maybe Bayley will return and go to Raw. Maybe we'll see a call up. I don't know what's going to happen with Becky, and who knows who she'll face at the Royal Rumble. Maybe she won't even defend the title, and they'll give her Royal Rumble off, and Charlotte will defend the title. Who knows? We'll figure that out at the end of January. But it was time for the main event. And if you didn't hear me in the beginning, I'll mention it again. Roman Reigns got tested positive of COVID-19 at 6 p.m. right before, an hour before the pay-per-view, and was scratched because obviously, if you know the protocols, you have to be vaccinated, and then you got to go into quarantine and everything like that, and there was no way for him to be able to compete. So they added Brock Lesnar to the Fatal 4-Way match for the WWE Championship, and this match ended up becoming a Fatal 5-Way match. And I don't know if you guys remember, this kind of just I don't know why when they said Fatal 5-Way match, it kind of reminded me of the 6-Way Scramble match that they did at Backlash back in 2009. They did it, I think it was at Clash of Champions even one year. No Mercy, or No Way Out, I think one year they did it too. And for like a 2 or 3 year span, they did the 6-pack challenge. And this kind of just reminded me of it. But not Roman Reigns, I'm sorry, we just talked about Roman Reigns. Seth Rollins, Big E, Kevin Owens, Bobby Lashley, and Brock Lesnar. Brock Lesnar just gets to show up and he just gets to fight for titles. I guess it's just how it works in WWE. But whatever. And Brock Lesnar, before the match started and earlier on in the show, he was talking and he goes, "This isn't a prediction. This is a spoiler. I'm winning the WWE Championship." And he goes, "That's all, folks." I swear, he's the only person that would get away with saying that. Any other person would be like, what are we doing? But that was funny as hell, and that was like the best 2-minute segment ever. But back to the Fatal 5-Way match. I kind of get off track a little bit, but I like to mention everything that happened in the pay-per-view, because if you weren't able to watch it, I want to make sure you know what's going on. So now let's talk about the Fatal 5-Way match. The Fatal 5-Way match only lasted 8 minutes and 25 seconds. This match, honestly, I was hoping it was going to be longer, but it ended up just being all of them doing their finishers. I don't know why I keep trying to say Roman Reigns. I'm sorry. I hope Roman's okay and just get better, my guy. But this match, it was just a bunch of them doing their finishers. Brock Lesnar did Suplex City to Kevin Owens. Seth Rollins, Big E, Bobby Lashley. Bobby Lashley even speared Brock Lesnar. It was really good. We saw really good spots. Lashley did put Brock Lesnar through the barricade, and I really hope this leads to a match between Brock Lesnar and Bobby Lashley. Maybe we'll see that at WrestleMania, and if that's the case, I'm down for that being a WrestleMania match for Brock Lesnar. But that's pretty much what this match was. There was a couple good spots, a bunch of finishers, a couple signatures, and then in the end, Brock Lesnar did an F5 to everybody, and in the end, he did the last F5 to Big E, and Brock Lesnar pinned Big E for the 1, 2, 3. Brock Lesnar is your new WWE champion. Yay! People, I'm excited that Brock Lesnar is champion. If Brock Lesnar shows up every week. If Brock Lesnar is going to vanish until the last week before the Royal Rumble and then not show up and then be like, "Oh, I'm fighting whoever, I'm fighting Big E." That was a waste, because I love Brock Lesnar when he's showing up, he's doing his overalls and everything like that. But if he's just going to go back and sit at home because he had his match and he's tired or what it is, then it's just not going to be no fun. So I really hope Brock Lesnar shows up every week, and if he does, then that's fine. Brock Lesnar, congratulations on becoming the WWE Championship again. But please, show up, my guy, and show up to work, and don't be that guy that doesn't show up and the title is just sitting at home, because we don't want to forget what the title looks like, and please don't make it red. Please, for the love of God, don't make it red. But, yeah. So, congratulations, Brock Lesnar, and that's how day one ended. Brock Lesnar as WWE Champion. And, we talked about it and I mentioned it. Day one was a really good pay-per-view. It was a good way to start off the year. I would have rather seen a TLC pay-per-view if they would have had TLC matches. And, that's how we talked about it before, about they have the match pay-per-views and that's just not okay. But, it was a really good pay-per-view for what it was. And it was a good way to spend a day on New Year's Day when everybody was probably hungover and not ready to really do anything. And I hope everybody enjoyed day one. I even want to give everybody a shout out too, because your boy Tino hit 100 subscribers on YouTube. So I just want to thank you, everybody, for supporting your boy Tino. 2022 is going to be a big year for Tino's Time. We're going to keep going, and maybe we can get a superstar or an athlete on the show instead of looking at me, and we could see somebody else better looking on the show. But day one, like I said, it was a good pay-per-view. But now it's time to move on. And what's next? Tonight, I don't know why I keep saying tomorrow. Tonight is Monday Night Raw. Who's gonna fight RKBro? Who is going to take the titles off of RKBro? I don't know any other tag team unless they're going to bring a tag team from somewhere else, or maybe a tag team left AEW or TNA. I don't know, but there's really no other tag teams I can really see beating RK-Bro. And like I mentioned earlier, I think we could see Randy Orton versus Riddle at WrestleMania, and I think that would just be a great singles match. So, who's going to face RK-Bro next? Mixed tag team match at WrestleMania? Probably. I mentioned it. I really hope this match happens at the Royal Rumble, but I would not be surprised if this happens at WrestleMania. Beth Phoenix and Edge versus Miz and Maurice. Who is going to face Becky Lynch and Brock Lesnar at the Rumble? If Brock Lesnar shows up, or if he defends the title. Maybe he won't defend the title until the Royal Rumble. Who is going to face Becky? Who's going to face Brock? People, I have no idea. I don't expect anything with WWE anymore. I get my hopes up and then I get let down, and it doesn't work anymore. So I just don't get my hopes up with anything anymore. And yeah, so I don't know who's going to face them anymore. 30 men, 30 women. It's that time of the year again, people. It's time for the Royal Rumble. It's the beginning of the road to WrestleMania. Where does the time go, people? We were just talking about WrestleMania last year. We were celebrating. We were doing our thing here on Tino's Time. I didn't have all these collectibles in the back. We didn't have nothing on the wall back then. But WrestleMania just happened last week, right? Nope. WrestleMania season is back, baby. 30 women, 30 men, 2 survivors. Which men and which women is going to main event WrestleMania on night 1 or night 2, or however they want to plan the pay-per-view. The Royal Rumble is one of my favorite pay-per-views. I don't know about you guys, but the Royal Rumble, I love eliminations, all the surprises. Hopefully we see returns. We always see returns at the Royal Rumble. We haven't seen Alexa in a minute. There's been so many people, and I can't think of on the top of my head. It's so early in the morning, people. Get with me. It's about like 8. It's about 10. It's about like 10 in the morning. It's still early in the morning. I'm not up all the way. I'm still recovering from New Year's. Your boy Tino was partying. Not. But the Royal Rumble is a great pay-per-view, and I cannot wait to see what happens. But before we get to the Royal Rumble, this upcoming Tuesday, tomorrow actually, it's time for New Year's Evil on the NXT side, NXT 2.0. So after you're done watching Tino's Time Wrestling, Tino's Time Wrestling Day 1 recap show, go check out Tino's Time New Year's Evil pre-show coming Tuesday morning, Tuesday morning, and make sure to check that out because we got to get ready for New Year's Evil and everything going on the NXT 2.0 brand. I'm sorry, people. That was awful. I need to redo that, and that was just awful. But go check out Tino's Time Wrestling New Year's Evil pre-show. I hope everybody enjoyed day 1. I hope everybody had a safe New Year's. Hopefully you didn't get too drunk, and hopefully you recovered. Thank you again, everybody, for helping me, your boy Tino, get to 100 subscribers. Keep smashing that like button. Keep going to at Tino Time 1996. Let me get that in there. At Tino Time 1996 on Instagram, Facebook, Snapchat, Twitter, everywhere you listen to your podcast. We got the Fantasy Football Championship coming up this week, too. There's so much coming up on Tino's Time and Tino's Time Wrestling. Until we do our thing and we preview New Year's Evil and we get ready for NXT 2.0 to put on a show. This is your boy Tino, signing out.